Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I'm Sean. This is In The Mixer, episode 133 of our Isle of Man series. Welcome. If you're randomly watching this one as the first episode, I don't know why you'd start at this particular point, but welcome just the same. Happy Wednesday wherever in the world you're watching from. We've got two massive fixtures. We've got arguably one of the bigger teams in the division in Manchester City away from home, and then we've also got probably our biggest group tie of the Europa League group stages against Athletic Bilbao. We're not going to waste too much time. We're going to jump straight in because I've got some results to show you from off screen. So, as you guys can see, just above me up here, we're currently sitting in 5th spot. We do want to try and finish top 7 again, maybe at a push, depending if other sides struggle. We can maybe look at maybe top 4, but in reality, I think maybe like stabilising ourselves as a Europa League European team this year is our main focus. We are still only 8 games into the season. I shouldn't get too far ahead of anything, but after those 8 matches, 5 wins, 1 draw, and 2 defeats during that period. The 2 defeats to Liverpool and Chelsea, who are 2 of the sides leading the division at the moment. Both are still undefeated, along with Manchester United at top, who seem to just kind of be randomly smashing everybody again. I think they're on track for their 5th league title if things continue as they have over the first 8 games of the season. Now, of course, in yesterday's episode, if you didn't go and watch it, we played Liverpool and lost 4-2 away from home at Anfield. We're kind of just going attacking away from home against the bigger sides in the division. And if I'm being completely honest, it didn't go that horribly. Considering we finished with 10 men, considering Henry Blaze is probably the best winger I've ever seen in the game, we didn't perform as terribly as perhaps that scoreline reflects. We then, of course, got our Europa League Group F games off to a good start. Our debut in Europe with a 2-1 victory away from home to Slavia Prague. We then had a 1-1 draw with Bournemouth in the league, a 3-0 win in the Carabao Cup, which was good because we rotated quite a bit. A 1-0 win over Brighton, and then a 0-0 draw against Rapid Vienna, who are just kind of, I think, the smokies in the group. If we have a look at our Europa League group, we're currently equal with Bilbao on top, that they have a +7 goal difference, having absolutely spanked Slavia Prague, or we just snuck past them. But Vienna, we have to keep an eye on. They've drawn with us now. They've also drawn with Bilbao. I'd expect them to probably beat Slavia Prague, and then that could very quickly bring them above us in the group itself. So we want to try and finish top 2. Worst case scenario, we'll finish 3rd and drop into the Conference League, which is also fine. Like, I'd be happy with like doing a progressive sort of style throughout the European competitions. Maybe trying to win the Conference League, then trying to win the Europa League, then trying to win the Champions League. But we'll see how we go. It's all positive stuff. Then followed that up with a 2-1 win against Watford, which is relatively good form for us. They did score via a David Lin own goal in the 52nd minute after not having a highlight up until that point. And I thought, here we go, classic FM. But we did put our foot down when accelerating a little bit, when attacking in the little spell after the hour that you can see here. Lua Barbosa coming off the bench and Elliot Bloor also getting involved in the goals. Again, though, similar story to last year. I think we're beating a lot of the sides beneath us, but then like that top 6, United, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and even Tottenham, I'll include them in that, we are kind of struggling against. The positive, I guess, that we could focus on is that Brighton have actually been very active in the transfer window, spending a lot of cash over the last few seasons, and spanked us 4-0 last year. And this time we actually did beat them 1-0, albeit at home, albeit perhaps a little bit fortunate. Lil Barbosa went on a phenomenal run and finished. But I think that's a good sign of progression that we didn't get spanked by them again this year. As far as the squad is concerned, we have had a couple of injuries. It's been a bit tough. 2 of our best players, Neil Peacock and Arnaud Henry, have both been out. Henry is unfortunately out for between 8 days and 4 weeks with damaged knee ligaments or sprained knee ligaments. He did that on international duty, which sucks, but, you know, like, we probably should be at a point now where we have the depth within the squad to recover any player missing out, but obviously his quality, like 5-star current ability for a 19-year-old player, is absolutely phenomenal. And then the other one is Neil Peacock. He's had a real tough time of it with the injuries so far this season. He broke his ribs and was out for 6 weeks at the start of the season. He had a groin strain and was out for 3 weeks, and now he's got a gashed upper leg and he's been out for the last 5 days. So things just haven't quite gone well for him so far in this season, but he did have a great off-season. He did have a great World Cup campaign for England. Hopefully we get him back into the side and into a decent run of form. Jimmy Winter's been playing, hasn't been fantastic. 6.74 is an average rating for the season, 6.78 over the last 5 starts while Peacock has been out. We want to try and get Peacock back in. And unfortunately, he has also turned 21, which means he's no longer in Wonder Kid status. Wonder Kid 11, it was a beautiful dream for a couple of games, but unfortunately, it has passed. So looking first at our lineup, we're going with Mancini in goal, Mokhtar and Esteban as the defensive partnership, Carlos Andre at left wing back, Fontana at right wing back, Lind will anchor midfield alongside Gary Lester, who comes back in for Arnaud Henry. He's, again, been pretty good for us, to be completely honest. Like, we picked him up for quite a bit of money 3 seasons ago when we wanted to bring all that young English talent in when we first came up to the Premier League. And he's been a serviceable squad player. Like, never really made it at West Ham. He's played 33 times for us in his first season, 36 last year. I would expect there to be a big drop-off this year now that he's kind of like a third-choice central midfielder. but still more than capable at this level. Like, happy to bring him back in and continue his hopeful development. And you might see a lot of these guys like Gary Lester, like Neil Peacock, like Elliot Bloor, like those English talents. I think we'll keep them around for like the next 5 or 6 years just because they help our registration rules. Even if they only get to be like 3-star current ability, it will be good to have them as squad players, and eventually, hopefully, because they will have spent time with us as 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old players, they'll become homegrown club talents, which is going to help all of our registration stuff quite a bit. Osorio will play at the 10 or Tizzett in the left wing, which is a bit of a toss-up. I thought about maybe starting Bloor. He did score in the last game. And then Winter comes in on the right for Neil Peacock. Rivera has been excellent at the start of the season. 6 goals in the league across 8 appearances, 4 in non-competitive fixtures at the start of the season. Yet to score in Europe, but maybe that will change today. And he has also signed a new contract, which takes him to the 80k club. That small group of players, which is growing pretty rapidly, getting quite a bit of cash from us as we kind of continue to secure financing. I should probably actually do the Man City team as well before I skip past that. They, of course, have some phenomenal talents. They're playing Lucas Neckis, who's a one kid that we've kept an eye on for a little while now. Left back by trade, wing back on defend. He's 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. I think if we were going to try and go after a player that's at a Man City or at a Liverpool or something like that, we'd want someone that's a bit closer to 5-star, which is why we haven't been that aggressive in pursuit of him. But maybe it's a sign that they're taking a bit lightly. He's only made 2 Premier League starts so far this season. He might not be their full strength left back, but they do still have some great players. Sean Brady over on the right is arguably the best right back in the game. It'd be between him and Stephen Campbell at Chelsea. I think if you search for all the key attributes over 15 for a wing back on defend, he's got all of them. So obviously phenomenal player, came through the City Youth Academy, now 23 years of age, a staple of their team and the highest average rated player in the squad for the season. They've got Ha Jiangyu, 31-year-old Chinese international. Now this guy's had a hell of a career. Came through very early on. I think it's the first youth intake in the save itself at Real Madrid. Made 1 appearance for them that season as well, which is crazy. Did his full development and played quite a bit at Real Madrid before making the jump across to Man City. He hasn't played all that much against us over the last couple of seasons. I think it's probably an indication that we're improving a little bit, that he is starting to appear in matches against us, but he is one of the premier midfielders in the game. Phil Foden wearing the captain's armband, still plugging away for Man City, still wearing the number 47 for some crazy reason. And they've got a front three, Brescia, who's quite decent. 29-year-old Italian striker. They're playing as an inside forward. They picked him up from Inter a couple of seasons ago. They've got Vasha, their leading scorer, 24-year-old French international, 4.5-star current ability and potential. He looks very good. Excellent first touch, excellent finishing, and very good physical attributes as well. And then over on the right, Corazzo, Spanish right winger, 24 years of age again. Very pacey striker. They're very much taking 3 strikers and playing them up front. Just some of them are in wider positions than others. But we'll have to be at our best to beat them, and hopefully we can try and match it with them as long as we can away at the Etihad. Brese's got the first highlight here, and Saunders with the ball in midfield. Leicester's first real involvement. Doesn't close down the ball forward. The clearance header goes straight to Brescia as well. Now Zhang Yu in midfield. Across to Saunders and strike from the edge of the area. That is a phenomenal goal. It's hard to be mad at all these freaking screamers that we're conceding. 23-year-old English international. He looks decent. He's also a striker by trade, pressing forward as well. They're playing him in midfield as a Messiah, it looks like, and it's hard to say that they haven't made the right call. 12 long shots, and he's absolutely rifled this one into the back of the net. Check it out here in 3 dimensions. Brescia puts it back across. Zhang Yu comes forward in midfield, beats one man, drags the second, and then opens up that space for Saunders to just get it out from under his feet and rifle a shot past the keeper into the far left-hand corner. Good strike. It's hard to say it's not a good strike. And if I think we see a couple more highlights for them in the opening 20 minutes, we might revert back to positive. Just to play a little bit deeper, not get caught so much spacing behind. Not that there was spacing behind for that goal. He just smashed it in from 35 yards. Foden with a free kick from distance. Not a bad effort. I think it was going wide, but Mancini makes sure of it out for the corner. We might use demand more shout 20 minutes gone just to give everyone some focus. Ball's let run across from the corner. Saunders now to take. Leicester does well to close it down, but it's going to come to Brady. Thankfully, the highlight comes to an end. So far, 20 minutes in, we haven't had a shot. But we do have possession here. Esteban comes forward. Now to Fontana, who, to be fair to him, has settled quite well on the Isle of Man. Never easy for a South American coming across to England, but he's done very well. Winter with the ball now. Maybe could have released Rivera there at the start. Now he tries to bring in Fontana on the overlap. Goes to strike himself, and he's found a goal. I was just saying in the build-up, the man has settled tremendously well, and that is his first ever goal for the Isle of Man. Assist goes to Jimmy Winter, but take nothing away from the strike from Fontana here. See, Winter just cuts inside. I thought maybe he might try and release Rivera there, but he holds it, plays it on the outside. Fontana gets it out from under his feet and just belts it as hard as he can at the top right corner. Cerrone in the City goal gets a hand on it, but can only push it into the top corner further. And I can't say it's been coming, and I can't say it's not against the run of play, but an excellent strike from the right back. 10 minutes remaining in the half. We use demand more again. Let's just try and get everyone focused so that we get through to halftime level at 1-1. And then we'll have a look at form, fitness, all that sort of stuff about what we're going to change. We've got a corner. Ortiz goes near post towards Mokhtar, and it wasn't miles away. Keeper was scrambling as it just sailed over the crossbar. And a wide free kick now for Lind. Looks back stick towards Mokhtar again, and again the header straight at Saroni in goal. Got to find those corners, boys. Got to make the most of these opportunities. We're not going to get many of them. Now Brady on the counter-attack, flying down this right-hand side for City. Just stand him up, boys. Gary Lester does tremendously well. Wins it back. Mokhtar looks to send Ortiz down the left, who has got pace and got trickery to try and take on a man. He's got Rivera front post if he can get the ball in. So he cuts it back to Osorio, who has struggled for a little bit of form in the early part of his career. Carlos Andre on the overlap, back to Ortiz. Now Lester edge of the area. He's gone to strike himself. What a goal that is from Gary Lester. Repays the start that we've given him with Arnaud Henry's injury, and that is phenomenal. That is as top corner as you are going to see a goal this season, and his first for the year as well. Ortiz and Andre do very well. I think it's the initial cross there that Andre recovers. Finds Ortiz again. Cut back to Lester, gets it out from under his feet and just rifles that one into the top corner. That is, like, I don't know if this is a phrase used elsewhere in the world, but pigeon is what we call it, the bit that holds the net. And he has put that right into the pigeon. So halftime, 2-1 up, 14 shots, 9 on target, 42% possession for Man City. 4 shots thrown on target, 58% of the ball for Isle of Man. Passionately, let's go assertively. We've got to guard against complacency now and maybe give everyone some focus. And then I think what we might also do is we might drop back to positive a little bit more, just so that we're playing a little bit deeper, a little bit less space in behind, and hopefully they'll push us a little bit further trying to find an equaliser. And it might leave some space in behind for the counter. That's the idea in my head. It never works out quite the way I want it to when I picture these things, but we might be on our way to a famous victory, but they do have a throw in here. Why do I open my mouth? Lucas Nekas with the ball, back to Zhang Yu. Fontana wins it back and looks towards Rivera, but it's cut out pretty easily by the Man City defence. Zhang Yu with the strike from distance, thankfully not on target. We're getting through the hour mark now. We've got 1 injury and 1 player not playing particularly well. I'm going to hit pause. We're going to take off Osorio because he hasn't done that well. Barbosa will come on for him, who has chipped in with a couple of goals and was probably kind of knocking on the door of a start. And then he's not super comfortable on this side, but Elliot Bloor will come on for Jimmy Winter just because of that knock. We'll get some fresh legs out there. We'll passionately say we've got faith in him. And I'm going to also use the Get Creative shout with about 30 minutes remaining. We've got a corner here. Ortiz to take. We've found Mokhtar a few times. It hits the deck for Lind, and he gets a strike away, but again, Saroni with a phenomenal save to keep that one out. Set pieces might be a good avenue here for us. We're getting some traction. Ortiz with the ball in. Vasher heads it away. Highlight comes to an end. Not many highlights for either side, so I think we're dealing with most of their issues at the moment, or most of their challenges. There's 10 minutes remaining. We're going to make that last sub. Rivera not having the best game. We'll bring on Scott Phillips, who hasn't scored in probably about 25 years at this point. So we'll give him 10 minutes to try and get something on the counter. A bit of fresh legs up front. We're going to use demand more as well, just to hopefully give everyone focus. We've got a few motivated players, which is great to see, but City have a throw in here. Ball with Foden, now Zhang Yu. Toby Owen, square ball to Vasher. Thankfully, the flying header. Keeper was scrambling madly just beyond far post. But you saw how quickly they pinballed that around. They're a very good team. 4 minutes to be added on here, and we're through that now. It's a famous victory against Man City. I think that's the first time we've beaten them in the Premier Division. I think we drew with them twice, but haven't actually gotten a win yet. 27 shots, 13 on target, 40% possession for Man City. 5 shots, 4 on target, 60% of the ball for Isle of Man. A wonderful performance. Passionately, I'm going to say, people have written us off. You proved them all wrong. And everybody has done tremendously well. And I guess that puts us in a good position for the Bilbao game as well. And that does see us go above Man City into 4th position. They stay on 17 points. We jump up to 19 points. And you might remember last season, like, goal difference was such a big issue for us because the big teams, like Man United, are already on plus 22 goal difference from 9 games played. That's just insane. We need to try and make sure that we keep our goal difference at a similar level to the other teams around us looking for European competition. Lind gets one over at Man City. I forgot we picked him up from them. So a good win for him. Saunders gets the Man of the Match award for his cracking goal. It's Leonardo Jardim as the manager of Man City. Is it Jardim or Hardim? I don't know. Who cares? Jimmy Winter's got an injury, so we're going to leave him to the physio. Hopefully, we can try and get Peacock back and fit for the next match. And it looks like Carlos Andres also picked up a knock. He'll have a tight groin. We've only got 4 days for the game against Athletic Bilbao. So we're going to go and give everyone a rest day. And I think we are also going to adjust. We are the home side. So I think we're going to just go positive, play a little bit deeper. With that tiki-taka style though, hopefully we'll coax the Bilbao players into committing a little bit further up the pitch and getting ourselves some space in behind. And we might make a couple of adjustments. We know Winter's going to be out. Peacock is supposed to return to full training in 6 days. So we might start Bloor on the right, which isn't his favourite position. Carlos Andre's got a bit of a knock as well. I don't want to risk him, so let's put Medjadu in at left back. And you know what? Osorio hasn't had the best run either. 6.68 over his last 5 games. Even Larry Ortiz, 6.48 over his last 5, not playing particularly well. So we might give Lua Barbosa a start in Europe, see how he gets on, and magic of editing. Let's jump forward and look at the two lineups now against Bilbao. Just like that, we're a couple of days ahead. Now, you guys already saw the team, but I'll run through it anyway. Mancini, of course, in goal. A backline of Medjugorje coming in for Andre, Mokhtar, Esteban, and Fontana. Leicester and Lind. Hopefully, Leicester can carry on his cracking form from that first game. And we're also going to bring in Lua Barbosa at the 10, as you guys are aware. He's been better over the last, few games. Maybe I need to give him a run of starts in the team. One, just to give Osorio a bit of a kick up the arse, but then also to reward what has been a relatively good production from the sub. Ortiz will continue on the left. Blore will come in on the right-hand side. He'll probably look to cut back on his left, which is his favoured foot. And Rivera, of course, leads the line up top, looking to break his duck in Europe. Looking at the Bilbao side, it's hard to pick anything out. It doesn't look like they've got anyone highlighted as being like a leading assist maker or a leading scorer. Gonzalez up top is their captain, 30-year-old Spanish international. 4 caps to his name. He's an attacking midfielder by trade. They're going to play him up front, but his finishing isn't fantastic, so that might be a bit of a positive for us. They've also got 2 wings. Delgado, he looks alright, 18-year-old. Looks to have a bit of ability about him. Again, he is a striker, but they're making the decision to play him on the right, which seems to be the phrase with a lot of teams lately. And Igor Gonzalez over on the left wing, he is a full Spanish international as well. He looks a little bit better. He might cause us some issues. Again, a pressing forward, but they're playing him on the wing. That seems to be the running theme. Big sides, playing 3 forwards, but one of them out wide. Otherwise, it's a very standard 4-3-3. I actually don't know how it's coded in the game as to how they ensure they only pick Basque players, but I guess like the majority of these guys are players that probably came through their youth academy, I'm assuming. No, it looks like they brought him from Pamplona. Delgado they bought from Tenerife. Gonzalez came through the academy, went out on to loan to Stuttgart early on in his career. So always an interesting save, Bilbao, trying to do that like kind of homegrown challenge. Passionately, we're going to say media giving you a lot of credit lately, and if we get 3 points here, it's going to be massive for us in terms of our placement in the group stages. If we lose, it probably puts us in a position where we're probably looking at maybe Conference League football, depending on how our result goes against against Rapid Vienna in the next game. Rivera with the ball now, though. Looks to try and cut it back. Does quite well to get it to Ortiz. Square ball to Leicester. We're not heading in the right direction here. Ball back to Barbosa. Now Ortiz again in 1v1 situations. He's very good, and that is an excellent finish from the Colombian winger. Second goal of the season for him. A wonderful move from everybody. A goal in the first minute. We literally took it from kickoff, pinballed it around the pitch a little bit. Thought maybe here from Leicester we were going in the wrong area, but Barbosa lays it off nicely to Ortiz. Another assist for him, and a good strike back across the keeper. Maybe you'd say the keeper could have done a little bit better with his angles and maybe having an attempt at going for the ball, but why am I going to look a gift goal in the mouth? That's not how that phrase and sentence works, but I'm applying it. Throw in now, Ayada takes it for Bilbao. Ortiz with good challenge, and now Medjugorje does quite well to win it back. Mancini sends it out the other side. That's what we want to see from our keeper. When he receives it from one side, send it out the other. Rivera now with possession, and that is a fantastic strike. 8th goal of the season for the Mexican international. And he gets his first goal in Europe in perhaps our biggest fixture to date. Fontana does quite well here. It's a good pass towards Blore, and then Blore just sends it again down into the channel. Rivera backs himself 1v1. Pace takes him away from the defender, and on his left peg just absolutely hits it as hard as he can, straight down the middle of the goal. And again, the keeper hasn't done fantastically well, but it's going great for us. I've got nothing to complain about. Hard to believe this side put 7 goals past Slavia Prague, who are now apparently beating Rapid Vienna and up into 3rd spot. Could make for a very interesting set of reverse fixtures if Prague win their match. We're going to demand more here. About 5 minutes to go in the first half. And at half time, we're 2-0 up. 7 shots, 3 on target, 52% possession. 2 shots, 1 on target, 48% of the ball for Bilbao. Passionately, we are going to say, very happy the way things are going. Keep it up, lads. And everybody's responded positively, which is fantastic. As always, though, we're going to give it to about the hour mark, which we are rocketing towards relatively quickly before we look at subs. We're going to keep an eye on some of the fitness as well. We probably don't need to risk 2-0 up guys like Neil Peacock or any other players that have been struggling for form or fitness. We might just sort by conditioning this time. And Blore not having the greatest game. We're going to leave him out there, though. Medjugorje also struggling. Ortiz towards the bottom as well. But what I think we might be better positioned to do is gives a run out to some of the guys that haven't played that much football so far this season. So we might give Gary Lester a spell and bring on David Cambridge because he hasn't played much. And we might bring on Selahattin Berber to give Fontana a rest after his excellent performance last time out. I'll hold on to that last sub for the last 10 minutes or so. And it might be Scott Phillips' territory to try and bring him on to break his scoring duck. We're going to also use our Get Creative shout with about 30 minutes remaining. I'd take a 2-0 victory though. If you had to offer me that before the start of the game, I'd have taken it. Lind with the backstick ball. Barbosa's gone down in the area. And it might be Rivera with the opportunity. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit pause and we are going to make that sub. I'm going to take Rivera off and put Phillips on. And then I'm also going to make sure we put Scott Phillips on penalty taking. We'll see if this sub actually goes through, and it's going to VAR. I probably should have waited to find out if it was a penalty. Might have jumped the gun just a little bit on that one, but we will see if it comes back. Is it going to go through? He is. He's going to give a penalty, so hopefully Scott Phillips will come on, and he might get the opportunity to take it as well, and hopefully break his goal scoring duck. We can tick a whole bunch of different boxes in today's episode. Thankfully, he finally scores. I think that's like his first goal in maybe like 15 games or something crazy like that. And yes, the majority of them are sub appearances, but we played him in the Carabao Cup and he was trash. We brought him on a couple of weeks ago on the left wing and he got himself sent straight off. Please let that goal be what kicks on Scott Phillips' season a little bit. Right, I've made all 3 subs. We haven't got too much more we can do, but we might use demand more for the last 10 minutes or so. Just give everyone some focus through to full time. Clean sheet could be huge in this one, and it brings the positive goal difference Bilbao built up straight back down, level with us on +4. Blore now with the ball out on the right-hand side. He immediately cuts inside onto his left. Looks to send Ortiz. It's a little bit of a heavy ball. Cut back from Medjadu is good. Front stick ball towards Phillips, and he's got a second. Maybe that's all he needed, just that confidence of taking that penalty and finding the back of the net. And he's excellent out of the air, it must be said. I don't know if this was a header or a volley in the end. Ortiz does very well. Keeps possession in a good area, and then wins it back from Martin. Gives it to Medjadu. Front stick ball, and Phillips with the volley. Left-footed, smashes it in from about 2 yards out. Maybe that's just his range. Maybe he's a player that really can't score outside the 6-yard box. Throwing now for Bilbao. Don't throw away the clean sheet, boys. Backstick ball towards Llorente. They've pulled one back. Ramon Llorente, actually, he's worth making note of. He is a wonder kid. 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. They didn't start him, but he's a left winger by trade. And he's jumped on and gotten a goal for himself as well. Would have been nice to have the clean sheet, I'm not going to lie, but, you know, these things happen throughout the course of a season. Orbegoso with the ball in, and it's a good header. He got in front of the defender, he headed it back across the keeper, made it difficult, got it low. And 4 minutes of additional time. If they pull anything else back, I will start to get very angry. No, nothing done, none. Referee calls full time. It ends 4-1. 12 shots, 7 on target, 45% possession for Isle of Man. 4 shots, 2 on target, 55% for Bilbao. Arguably, our biggest result of the European season so far. Passionately, we're going to say very happy with the result and the way you played, and everyone responds positively, which is great. And we're in a good little run of form here. I don't want to jinx it. Anything can happen when you save the game and reload, which I do pretty much before every episode's recorded. Phillips actually gets a man of the match award for an 8.4 match rating. Guardiola is the manager now at Bilbao. I wasn't aware of that. But we've had a good run against him. We beat him a couple of times when he was at Tottenham back in the Premier Division. We get 490k for winning against Bilbao. It's proving very lucrative for us, which we desperately need. And we're going to give Phillips a bit of praise here. Passionately. Superb in front of goal last time out. And Sean Dyche from England was there watching. Connor Medjadu, David Lind, Gary Lester and Elliot Blore for his next England squad. Neil Peacock should be in that discussion, but unfortunately his injury kind of keeps him out a little bit. So when you look at our competition view, we're not doing too badly. Top 4 in the Premier Division, top of our group in the Europa League. FA Cup to come, we're still in the Carabao Cup, and we've got Middlesbrough who are down in the Championship. We should be winning that game. Everything progressing quite nicely. Looking forward, we might mix it up slightly. We've done a few Europa League games now. We might come back and do the match against Everton and Fulham in the league itself. It will give us a gap and one Europa League group game, the reverse fixture against Bilbao, off screen. But it also gives us a chance to kind of breathe a little bit. We might come back in December and close out the week, finishing off our Europa League group game against Vienna and then maybe the match against Southampton, knowing that they are a very good side. That will in turn, maybe, if we look at the calendar, let's say we do get out of the group, hypothetically speaking, maybe when we finish up that Europa League Group F thing, we can also work into that episode. Oh no, I take it back. It will be after the Southampton game where we can work in maybe the knockout round draw. If we get to that stage, I should stop jumping the gun. Like, I really need to just not do any of that and just take it one game at a time, calm myself down a little bit. Form's good, and it's always tough to stop recording when form's good because you just want to keep playing the game as much as humanly possible. If you want to help us celebrate, go that extra mile for the series, for the channel, you can drop a like on this video. You can also subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all of our future videos. We've got a One Season Wonder Save coming up in the next couple of weeks. We've got a few ideas. If you have your own, drop it in the comment section. I will make content that you guys want to see. But as always, more than anything, I just appreciate you guys watching. I've been Sean. I'll see you all again in the mixer.